Welcome to Dark Knight Films Reviews and another special ranking night. Tonight, I will be counting down my picks for the top 10 Dolph Lundgren films. Alright, so let's begin this list with number 10. Rocky IV. Now, this is not just regular Rocky IV, but on my list, I am putting Rocky IV, Rocky vs. Drago. Originally released in 1985, but this version was released in 2021. This is the director's cut of Rocky IV that Stallone decided to put together and put out. And I think this cut is highly superior to the original theatrical version of the film. And it is, you were given a lot more of Drago in this film, as far as he's still not, a character that you're really getting to know real good. And he's not giving a lot of chance to show his acting talent in here. But it is a better representation of that character than what the theatrical version is, in my opinion. I do wish that Stallone would have cut out the sequence in which they were injecting steroids into Drago in this one sequence. Now, the theatrical cut, I can see that. That's fine. Do that in that one. But in this one, you're making it a different narrative. Just make him, a more new style training character. Don't make him, hey, he's pumping up on steroids and that's how he's so strong and badass. I don't like it. But that was the only negative I had about Rocky vs. Drago. It was a damn good version of that film, and it's the best variation of Drago in Rocky, in my opinion. All right, so coming in at number 9, we have Universal Soldier, released in 1992. Now this one, it is really interesting to get to see Dolph Lundgren go from where he was playing good guys at this point in his career prior to this film. And, he had moved on from playing just the bad guy character, similar to what he was playing in Rocky IV as Drago and stuff like that. He had moved on from that and was now more of a, good guy action hero. And so in this, he got to play a more psychotic, crazy villain character. And I like what they do with his character in this. But what brings this one down on this list and doesn't make it any higher on this list is the fact that the final fight is a big letdown. I mean, it starts off a really kick-ass, awesome fight between Dolph Lundgren and Jean-Claude Van Damme. But much like some of these cliche action fights, it ends with a whimper. It ends with, our villain, Dolph Lundgren, just completely lowering his hands and just letting Van Damme just kick the shit out of him. And I hate when that happens in an action film. All you got to do is look at films like Roadhouse and another film that I'll put on this list as well later on down the road on this one that I'll mention as well, but I'm not going to mention it right now. Roadhouse had that scene with Jimmy versus Dalton, and you never see at one point where, yes, Dalton does get the advantage over him, but he is still trying to fight back, Jimmy is, and I like that kind of a fight that, by the time the character does get killed, in this case with Dolph Lundgren's character, it make him defending himself all the way up until that boom, that moment, because that makes it stronger and more powerful. Unfortunately, this did not get that. I like the way his character is killed, but I just hate the fact that it's just, oh, he's going to hit him with a roundhouse kick. Oh, he hit him with another one, and another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. And now he falls back into the thing, and dies. It's like, come on. That should have been, he kicks him, he goes to strike at Van Damme, and Van Damme, counters and hits him, and then knocks him into the thing and kills him. And now, see, something like that would have been much, much cooler for this film. But I digress. All right, so coming in at number 8, we have The Punisher, released in 1989. Now, there are parts of this film that I think it is a very good adaptation of the comic book version of this character. Some of the action sequences where he's killing these people and everything and massacring them, they look like they're ripped right from the pages of the comics. But his overall look, come on. Why couldn't you put the skull on his chest? Make him look like the Punisher. Closest you get to the skull is these skulls on his knives that he uses to kill a couple of people in here. And it's just... And then you don't get any comic book villains in this. Euron Crabbe is really good as the bad guy in this, but he is not a comic book character. And I do like the fact that his character has a little bit, where he's not really a fully bad guy and everything. But, it's a missed opportunity in a lot of respects, unfortunately. And that's why it doesn't make it any higher on my list. All right, so coming in at number 7, we have Bridge of Dragons, released in 1999. Now this one, Dolph reunited with an actor that he works with in another film that will be on this list, with Cary Haruka Tagawa. And these two guys are just really good. They know how to work well off of each other. Cary's villain in this is really good, and Dolph's hero character is he's just such a kick-ass character. And the final fight between the two of them in this film is excellent. In this film, Dolph gets a chance to show a lot of his acting range, and that's what I like. I love that he shows that because, like I said, he's very underrated. He has a lot more talent than a lot of these other action heroes do. He's just very underrated, and most people don't give him that credit, unfortunately. All right, so coming in at number 6, we have Red Scorpion, released in 1988. Now, I just reviewed this one recently, so if you want to see my actual response to that film and telling you more about it, go watch that review. But this one makes my list this high because I just like the Rachinko character that Dolph plays. Like I said, it's more along the lines of a Drago-style character, but he does get a lot more to do in this than Drago did. And yes, he is, just a badass with not much personality, but the supporting cast around him really is a plus and helps him to become a really interesting and badass character that you really get invested in. So that is the reason Red Scorpion makes my list at 6. Coming in at number 5, we have Men of War, released in 1994. This one features Trevor Goddard, who would later go on to play Kano in the Mortal Kombat film from Paul W.S. Anderson. Now, this film shows what Kano could have been in that Mortal Kombat film, because Trevor Goddard is great in here as this villain. And the final fight scene between Dolph and Trevor in this is just totally badass. This is exactly what Universal Soldier should have had. This is a back and forth all the way. There is never a moment where Dolph is kicking the shit out of Trevor's character and then it's over, you know. It is just a back and forth kick-ass brawl between these two, and it is excellent. But the overall movie itself, Dolph is given so much emotion and style in this character to show a lot of what he couldn't show in a lot of these other films, such as The Punisher and Red Scorpion and Rocky IV. But he is really, really good in Men of War. Excellent performance in this. If you have not seen it, check this one out. All right, so coming in at number 4, we have Don't Kill It, released in 2016. Now, I'm going to admit to you right now, this is the only film on this list from the 2000s. Only one to make the list. And most of that is because Dolph is so badass in this film as this demon hunter character. And the demon that he is after is a body-hopping demon that is jumping from body to body, which is why the title is Don't Kill It. If you kill the person that the demon is in, the demon will jump out of that person and jump into somebody else, and then you're screwed. You've got to go through it all over again trying to stop this demon. And his leading lady in this is Christina Klebe, and she is just so good. The chemistry between Dolph and Christina is great. I absolutely love Don't Kill It. Very, very cool horror film. And that's another reason it makes the list. This is a really badass horror film starring Dolph Lundgren. Awesome. All right, so coming in at number 3, we have Showdown in Little Tokyo, released in 1991. Now, this is the other film that I was mentioning earlier with Cary Haruki Tagawa as the villain. And this was the first time they worked together in a film like this, and the chemistry between them in this was just so badass as the villain and the hero. And add to that the fact that Dolph Lundgren's partner in this is frickin' Brandon Lee. And him and Brandon have such a cool buddy cop mentality with them, and they just work so well off of each other. And then you have a beautiful kick-ass love interest in this with Tia Carrere. So definitely one of Dolph's best films he ever made. All right, so coming in at number 2, we have I Come in Peace, released in 1990, also known as Dark Angel. Now in this one, Dolph is up against a kick-ass drug-dealing alien, played by Matthias Hughes. And it is so cool to see Dolph play something like this. This is what you would have expected from Dolph had he ever been cast in a Predator film, which I always said that would have been cool to see Dolph Lundgren in a Predator film. And here you get the closest thing you will ever get to Dolph Lundgren in a Predator film, because Matthias Hughes is portrayed as being this huge monster of a man, and in the final fight between him and Dolph, it is a kick-ass battle, not only because it is one of those fights unlike Universal Soldier where it is back and forth, but Dolph is portrayed in this sequence, even though him and Matthias Hughes are the same height, he is portrayed as much, much smaller. And Matthias Hughes is made to look like this giant monster compared to him. Very similar to the way that Kevin Peter Hall looked compared to Arnold Schwarzenegger in The Predator. So this was screen trickery and, camera angles and shit like that that made Matthias Hughes look like a giant compared to Dolph. But it's one of those very few moments where Dolph is under duress from somebody that is bigger and more badass than him. You don't get that much with Dolph. All right, so coming in at number 1, what is my favorite Dolph Lundgren movie of all time? It is Joshua Tree, released in 1993, also known as Army of One. Now, this film is the coup de grace, in my opinion, for Dolph Lundgren. He is playing a character named Santee, and his performance in here, even though he's kind of, not given too much because they're trying to keep him as a mystery on whether or not he is a bad guy or a good guy throughout the film, this character is so good. And the actors around him playing the characters against him, with George Segal, Bo Starr as your main villains of the story, and then him teaming with Jeffrey Lewis and Christian Alfonso. It is so great with all of these talented actors working with Dolph, and Dolph just gives everything in this film. I absolutely love this film. Now, for years, I went by this film from its title of Army of One, but the Army of One title was a really cheap version of the film that came out through Artisan DVDs back in the day, and it is full screen. You're not getting the full feel of how great this film is by watching that version. But there is a really kick-ass Blu-ray version of this out there that I implore you to get and view, called under its original title of Joshua Tree. And man, it is in its proper widescreen format. You are getting the vibes of all of that. I'm going to review this one down the road, so I'll get to a lot of this later on. But man, this is definitely the best Dolph Lundgren film, in my opinion. But what do you guys think of this list? Do you agree with it? Do you disagree? How would you rank the Dolph Lundgren films? Would you put other films on your list that I didn't put that he's done? Because he has done a lot more than what I've put on this list. Let me know in those comments down below. And please, just be respectful with your comments, please. Thank you. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this ranking video, and if you have, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to click that bell icon so you can be notified about future videos just like this one. And while you're by the subscribe button, click that join button and become a Dark Knight fan. As a Dark Knight Fan Plus member, you have access to an area on the channel right now where you can request a movie, TV series, or ranking video of your choosing. And when that video goes live, it will go live for all Plus members prior to it coming to all subscribers on the channel on my schedule. So if you want to get interactive and help me to get more reviews out there, now's your chance. And if you missed last week's ranking video, check out the link above. And if you missed any of our other ranking videos, check out this playlist and get caught up.